Northern Illinois and NC State. We've got the Wolfpack 7-point home favorites, 47 being the total here in this game. Huskies and Wolfpack. I liked Buffalo last week against Northern Illinois. Buffalo, it was a team that I think with Pete Lembo being hired, a guy that's very familiar with the MAC, had a pretty solid run as head coach with Ball State, that it would end up being a pretty decent hire, a nice way to try to get Buffalo back to, the upper echelon again of the MAC. They had kind of fallen since Lance Leipold left for Kansas and Linguist took over as the head coach. That was not really a great run necessarily for Buffalo after Leipold left. And sure enough, Buffalo to me so far this season has been a solid team. And sure enough, Northern Illinois coming off the big win against Notre Dame. And you would think, look, they had a bye week too after the massive shocker upsetting Notre Dame 16-14 2 weeks ago as 28-point dogs. They had a bye week after that game. It would give them time to kind of settle down and lock back in, get focused for their first MAC conference game against Buffalo. And unfortunately for them, they were not sharp at all in that game. The offense kind of struggled. Ethan Hampton, 23 of 43, 194 passing yards, 1 interception. The run game was kind of held in check. 165 rushing yards on 42 rush attempts. So we're talking about a team that, barely averaged. That average is not good. You do the math on that. Northern Illinois with only 3.9 rushing yards per attempt is not really what you want to see. So I look at this as a spot where, Northern Illinois coming off that loss against Buffalo. And Buffalo, like I said, going to be, I think, a little bit of an improved team. What really hurt Northern Illinois in that game was they had 1 fumble loss. They had 1 interception from their quarterback. Buffalo was opportunistic. Buffalo didn't really light it up. Buffalo only had 184 total yards in that game against Northern Illinois. But, they were opportunistic. They got good field position. There were times when Northern Illinois also went for it on 4th down, and Buffalo got good field position from that. And they just found a way, obviously, Buffalo, to win in overtime 23-20. Again, the defense was solid for Northern Illinois, but too many mistakes, too many turnovers. And there's no question that Buffalo took advantage of that. But I'm tempted to get back to Northern Illinois here, +7. I don't know how you can make a case for NC State laying a touchdown right now. And I get it. This is definitely not the point spread that we would have seen before the season started in this game. There's no way NC State would just be a 7-point home favorite. But the betting markets have devalued NC State, have definitely downgraded them significantly because you have to downgrade NC State significantly. This is a team that is lost right now. Their defense has even crumbled the last few games. They're playing with a backup quarterback who we've now seen through almost 6 quarters of football not play very well, and CJ Bailey. So, how much confidence does Dave Doran and the coaching staff have in CJ Bailey to be the guy at quarterback moving forward? That's definitely concerning. Grayson McCall, it looks like the latest update on him is week to week. So we don't know if he has been officially ruled out for this game against Northern Illinois. But keep in mind, this is not a Grayson McCall only issue with the offense here for NC State. This is an offensive line issue. This is a lack of playmakers issue. Other than Concepcion, I don't love the receiving core and what we've seen so far from NC State. You look at the ground game, it's been very spotty to this point in the season as well. So there's been issues, but the offensive line just consistently has not been good enough for the NC State Wolfpack. And I think that's where the biggest problems for them lie as far as the offensive side of the football. So I think when you look at this matchup here with Northern Illinois and NC State, we know Northern Illinois is proven to be a giant killer with the win against Notre Dame. We have concerns about NC State, especially along the offensive line. And I think the struggles of the offense, failure to sustain drives and consistently move the football and put up points, is having a reverberating effect on the defense right now, where it's just wearing them down a little bit. I think they have a better defense than you would than they've shown, than they showed last week against Clemson. But when you're on the field that long, and Clemson clearly with a ton of offensive confidence at the moment with the way they've played, and it just snowballed on NC State's defense. I still lean Northern Illinois. I know this is a point spread that we would not be only getting +7 with Northern Illinois had this game been played in week 0 or week 1. I get that. And Northern Illinois is getting some respect for beating Notre Dame, and NC State's been in a disappointment this year at 2-2, including the losses that they suffered, blowout style to Clemson and Tennessee, barely beating a below-average Louisiana Tech team, struggling at home in their first game with Western Carolina. It's all factored into this number. There's no doubt. So you can make the case this is a cheap price and a discount on NC State. I don't know if I can do that, though, against a Northern Illinois team that already showed what they could do, hanging tough with and beating a team like Notre Dame on the road. So I still lean NIU +7 Northern Illinois in this game. I also lean to the under as far as the total goes. I don't think we're going to see points in bunches in this game, especially if McCall is out again. And that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on as we go throughout the week. But right now, leaning to Northern Illinois, leading to the under as well when it comes to this matchup. All right.